Hi guys, Mrs. Sohn here. In this video I'm going to be demonstrating the blanket stitch. The blanket stitch is a decorative stitch that we do on the edge of 2 layers, could be more than 2, but definitely at least 2 layers of fabric, joining them together. Alright, so we want to have our needle threaded and both ends of the thread involved in the knot, so a double threaded needle. Now, if you're using heavier thread, like embroidery floss or a heavy cotton thread, you could probably get away with a single threaded needle because it will have a beefier or a bigger presence on the fabric. But using standard sewing thread, we need a double threaded needle. Okay, to get started, you can see I've already worked a few of these stitches here just to show you where we're going. To get started, you're going to sneak your needle between the 2 layers, hopefully you can see that, and bring it out on the front side of the fabric that's facing you. And I've brought it down, close to 1/4 of an inch from that cut edge. That distance is totally up to you, but you want to be able to be consistent with it, all right? So I'm just hiding my knot in between the layers. So to do my first stitch, I'm going to bring my needle behind, and it's going to insert both layers, come through the same place where my thread is already sticking out. Okay, and I'm going to pull this up, and then just before I tighten that down, I'm going to pass my needle through the loop from right to left. Now, I should mention, I'm right-handed, so I'm working from the left toward the right. If you're left-handed, you simply reverse the operation. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing again. So from the back, I'm moving my needle over. Notice I'm not having to turn and look at the back side of my fabric. I'm trusting myself to be able to move my needle from behind. So I've got my loop, pass it through, and pull my threads firm, but not over tight. Okay, I'm going to keep doing that a few more times to show you here. I'm trying to keep my stitches consistent so that they're the same distance apart and the same depth from the edge. Now sometimes when we're sewing with 2 threads in the knot, we can have a little bit of this, the thread tries to misbehave on us, so you just kind of have to be patient and sort it out. Okay, I'll do a couple more here. And right before I pull that all the way up, pass my needle through the loop and pull that tight. Not tight, but firm. Okay, I need to be a little more careful. My stitches are starting to get a little out of size here with each other. Pass through the loop. Okay, so you're going to continue that the whole length of your sample, your folded sample. And let's see, how do we end this? So let's imagine I got all the way to the end and I'm ready to stop. Okay, well, I'm going to turn my sample over, and I'm going to take a little tiny anchor stitch right at the bottom of my last stitch. And what that's going to do is create a little thicker line. Okay, that's my anchor stitch, and now I'm going to knot off. So take a little tiny stitch, and before I pull that all the way up, I'm going to pass my needle through the loop, which is going to make my knot. And there's my silly threads are getting out of whack again. Okay, so now I've knotted off, and I'm going to use my fingernail and pull that tightly. So now you can see from the front side, this is the part I just stitched for you in this video. So a couple of things I could do a little better on. I could pull my thread just a little bit more firmly so that lines right up on the edge. These first 2 stitches were better. I got a little, I was moving a little sloppily there at the end, but you really want that thread to ride right along that edge there so that it has a nice even look to it. Okay, here we go.